The National Weather Service has put Phoenix under an excessive heat warning, meaning you should stay cool and stay inside. But what if you can't do those things because you work outdoors? Well, as Cronkite News reporter Julian shows us, some lawmakers in D.C. are pushing for protections for people who work in the heat.
To provide employees a workplace.
Warehouse worker Javier Rodriguez says he doesn't want to work in dangerously hot conditions, but he's afraid to say otherwise.
The supervisor coming with you and asking you, "Are you feel good? Are you okay?" And sometimes, like, we scared, like, say, "Yes, I feel good," but in reality, we don't feel good.
That's why House Democrats are calling for federal regulations to protect workers like Rodriguez, as well as farm workers, construction workers, or anyone who could find themselves working in excessive heat. One of the bill's sponsors, Arizona Representative Raul Grijalva, said at a rally earlier this week that Congress needs to act because this administration won't.
This Department of Labor and this secretary have done little of anything to extend worker protections to the workers of this country.
The Asuncion Valdivia Act is named for a farm worker who died in 2004 of heat stroke after 10 hours in the field. The bill would require the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to set standards that would protect workers from such conditions. Members of the House Education and Labor Committee agree that it's an important issue, but not all thought Congress is the best body to solve it.
I think we need to think long and hard before we prescribe a bunch of things in a statute directed at an agency about how they're going to carry out their job, because I'm not sure we know enough to do that.
Brian Little, the Director of Labor Affairs for the California Farm Bureau, said a standard is fine, but not the same standard for everyone.
I think that makes sense to do that, but it doesn't necessarily make sense to try to impose a regulation like that on a dental office, because they're just going to have different potential hazards than a lot of other different types of employment settings are going to have.
But Rodriguez believes it does make sense, and a federal law would let workers rest without worrying about losing their jobs or risking their lives.
You have the right to rest and drink water in the shade, cooling when you feel better back to work.
In Washington, Julian, Cronkite News.